What's the greatest legal loophole you've found in life? My university apartment complex had this stupid rule where you couldn't sublet your unit to anyone who wasn't a full-time student. Breaking this rule meant instant eviction and losing your $3,000 security deposit. The property manager, Barbara, was this uptight woman in her 50s who treated the building like her personal kingdom. My boyfriend, Nick, lost his scholarship mid-semester due to budget cuts, forcing him to drop to part-time status while working to save up for next term. We'd been planning to move in together when his lease ended, but now Barbara smugly informed me he wasn't qualified to live there. I wasn't about to let some power-tripping property manager keep us apart, especially since Nick was still taking classes, just fewer of them. So I spent an entire weekend going through my 40-page lease agreement, hunting for any possible loophole. At 3 a.m. Sunday, fueled by energy drinks and spite, I found it. The lease defined a qualified resident as someone actively pursuing higher education, but never specified they had to be full-time. It only mentioned student status had to be verified every semester. I highlighted that section and spent the next day crafting my plan. When Nick's lease ended that Friday, we moved all his stuff in while Barbara was at lunch. I made sure to do it right when the maintenance guy, Pete, was around. Pete hated Barbara as much as the rest of us, so I knew he wouldn't say anything. Monday morning, Barbara stormed up to my unit, face already red. "Your boyfriend was seen moving in this weekend. He's not a qualified resident. You have 48 hours to remove him or face eviction." I smiled and pulled out the highlighted lease. Actually, according to page 27, Nick is completely qualified. He's actively enrolled in classes with verified student status. The lease never specifies full-time enrollment anywhere. She snatched the paper, scanning it frantically. Her face went from red to purple. This isn't what this means. You know very well, I know exactly what it means," I cut in. "I've read every word of this lease, multiple times. Would you like to see Nick's current class schedule and student ID as proof of enrollment?" She stormed off to call the property owner. An hour later, every resident got an email blast about an immediate clarification to the lease terms, specifically adding full-time to the student requirements. But I was ready for that too. Page 34. Lease amendments cannot be implemented until the following semester, unless agreed upon in writing by all parties. When I walked into Barbara's office with that section highlighted, she looked ready to explode. "Listen here, you little," she started. "Careful," I warned. "Harassment of residents is grounds for a civil suit under state law. Would you like that section highlighted too?" After that, Barbara became obsessed with finding other ways to evict us. She claimed our TV was mounted 1 inch higher than regulations allowed. She wrote us up because Nick's bike lock scratched the rack. She even tried saying our houseplant was an unauthorized pet. Finally, she offered us a special deal, a bigger corner unit with covered parking if we'd sign an updated lease. When we declined, she threw in free utilities. We stood firm. Every time she found a new violation, I'd pull out another highlighted section proving her wrong. The other residents started coming to me with lease questions. Soon, Barbara couldn't enforce half her made-up rules anymore. At lease renewal time, Barbara hand-delivered our new contract. The student status requirement now took up an entire page of crystal-clear legal language. She'd even hired a lawyer to rewrite it. "Try finding a loophole in that," she smirked. I glanced at the novel-length paragraph and grinned. "Challenge accepted. Oh, and Barbara, you might want to check state law about rent increase caps. This new rate looks about 3% higher than legally allowed." Her face fell as I pulled out the relevant statute.